So let's have a go with learn how to export. Identify opportunities and research the market. Learn to identify opportunities abroad and find the best target markets for your business. Let's see. Step by step in Aussie accent. Choosing the right export opportunities, evaluate opportunities and create an export plan. Let's see what they have here. So it's a class, it's a short class. Let's hear it.
Imagine you've been approached by a buyer to supply your goods or services, but before you commit, you need to know what you're committing to. This is why it's really important to do a feasibility study. First of all, clarify who the customer is, what they want, and are they legitimate. If you're not sure, the Department for International Trade can help. Once that's sorted, it's time to ask questions and make sure you're clear on exactly what they want. When that's in place, there are 4 other areas to work on. Firstly, consider your capability. Do you have the skills, language, and capacity to manage the contract? Secondly, what about your time and money? Assess the costs and think about cash flow, particularly for things like paying distributors and potential increases in production. Find out about documentation for your market in case it takes time to obtain. Then it's time to analyze your approach to risk. You'll need to consider the socio-economic situation of the market. Is the political environment stable, or could there be sudden changes, for example? Finally, could this be an opportunity to grow?
So it's
assess the pros and cons carefully, and if necessary, seek help.
Department for International Trade. So it's it comes for a highly specific department of the British government. Yeah, and it delivers. It seems to deliver highly fundamental prior knowledge about doing import and export. Mainly doing export businesses from Great Britain. What you will learn the 4 key areas to look at when assessing your fit with a potential buyer. The pressures a large order could place on your business. The organizations and intermediaries that you may need to work with along the way. Is the opportunity right for your business? You've had an approach by a keen buyer, or you have come across a tender for a project or for a project that looks ideal for your company. Before you put in the time, effort, and money, think about what you need to know. Don't get carried away with your own perceptions. Take time to ask questions. There's no point in presenting your Rolls Royce when what the company really is a Mini. Check the latest export opportunities, international trade advice. Clarify who the customer is and what they want. What do you know about the buyer? Is this a real inquiry, and is the company legitimate? Be prepared to do your research and due diligence. You may need to use trusted organizations to help you, such as the Department for International Trade, Chambers of Commerce, professional or trade bodies. Ask questions and check your understanding of what's required, especially if the detail is vague. The project may turn out to be much smaller or larger than you first thought. Once you are clear on what's required and by whom, you can assess the fit with your company. There are 4 areas you will need to consider. 1, your capacity. 2, your time and money. 3, your approach to risk. 4, your appetite for growth. So they don't seem to have a question a test for to test your overall level of understanding and knowledge about what you've learned so far. That's kind of a bummer. That's the transcript, actually. The language. It's a rather short one. Thank you for. I didn't actually submit my rating to help. Yeah, mark that as complete. Next topic, moving from accidental to strategic exporting. Let's see.
The difference between accidental and strategic exporting comes down to proactivity. If a foreign buyer emails you and shows an interest in your product or service, it may be enough to encourage you to export there. This is accidental exporting. It was never in your business plan. You simply reacted to the opportunity. The difference between accidental and strategic exporting comes down to proactivity. If a foreign buyer emails you and shows an interest in your product or service, it may be enough to encourage you to export there. This is accidental exporting. It was never in your business plan. You simply reacted to the opportunity. Having an export strategy, on the other hand, is when you proactively aim to expand your business internationally. You need to plan the steps to achieve this. There could be many reasons for choosing to export. Your UK operations could have reached maximum growth, or you have a seasonal product, such as swimwear, and operating in a country that has a different climate from the UK could help smooth over seasonal highs and lows. Benefits include spreading the risk from economic downturns and competition in the UK. However, entering a foreign market comes with added financial and legal risks, so it's important to do your research. Be honest with yourself. Do you have the people, money and time to expand? A common mistake is not being strategic when it comes to market selection. For example, lots of people want to export to the US because it's a large market with a large disposable income. However, it also has high levels of competition. Wherever you export to, make sure you're making the right strategic choice. Creating an export plan will help you understand the risks and benefits.
Do we really need to plan that much? Let's have a read of all these texts. What you will learn the difference between accidental and strategic exporting, some of the reasons for wanting to expand into a new market, 3 things you should ask yourself before starting your initial research. You are an accidental exporter if you have already exported your goods or services to a new market by reacting to individual inquiries, rather than proactively trying to sell into that market. A foreign buyer may have contacted you via your website or discovered you through social media. A typical email might be from someone who represents the sector your product falls under in the foreign company. They are interested in your product, want to find out more information, and would like to see a price list. You may end up with an order you can fulfill, but it was not part of your business plan. Strategic exporting. Strategic exporting is proactively trying to expand your business internationally. It could be for a number of reasons. It may have always been part of future ambitions for your business. Your business may be doing very well in the UK. You'd like to expand your revenue at home, but there isn't much room for growth. Your product may be seasonal. For example, if you sell most of your swimsuits to UK customers in the summer, you could sell to another market abroad when it's colder in the UK but warmer there. Yeah, then this one makes more sense, I suppose. Understanding the benefits and risks. Being active in a different market can help spread the risk from economic downturns and competitors in the UK. But remember, entering a new market will come with added financial and legal risks, so you will need a well-planned strategy. The legal environment in the country you are exporting to can be very different to the UK. You need to get access to the right expertise and make sure proper arrangements are in place. You may need to invest in extra resources to cope with increased orders and carry out marketing and administration. You may also need to protect your intellectual property by registering your brand. This can be an added cost, but is needed to protect yourself and can also improve how people see your business and its products or services. A common mistake is not being strategic with the markets you choose. Everyone wants to export to the US. It's a big market with disposable income, and they think they will do very well there. However, it can be a very tough market to enter with a lot of competition from the International Trade Advisor. So yeah, this basically this part emphasizes on planning, on getting some prior knowledge in order to blast through the legal pitfalls and the scrutinies there. Before you decide to make the shift to exporting, you should be honest with yourself. Do you have the people, money, and time to expand? That's where making an export plan will help. You can also do your research on your target market, its culture, and any competition you may face before working out which route to market you should take. That will inform whether you choose to work with a distributor, a team of agents, or hire your own sales team. I don't suppose I can afford to hire my own sales team just yet. Test your knowledge. What's the difference between accidental and strategic exporting? What are some of the reasons for wanting to expand into a market? What does your business need to make the shift to strategic exporting? Yeah. How to create an export plan. Your export plan should include information and decisions about your core business, exporting objectives, competitor analysis, target markets, your finances, HR, and other resource requirements. It should also outline things like cultural differences you may have to consider and any changes you may need to make to your product or service for it to succeed in a new market. Using our export plan you can make a personalized export plan for your business using our interactive online tool that has been developed with trade experts at the Department for Business and Trade, DBT. So how do I know they are trade expert, and how do I put their level of expertise under my own benchmark of scrutiny to double check or confirm whether they possess the adequate level of knowledge. I suppose that remains in question. That remains in the shadow of doubt. how to use the export plan to sign in to business.gov.uk, or if you don't have an account, create an account. Well, if my memory still serves, they use this website used to have a rather different domain name called great.gov.uk. Yeah. And what is going on, my fellow viewers, subscribers, and the most beloved patrons? Welcome to another video, another filming session. It's the 19th of June, year 2025, both at Australian Eastern Standard Time / Sydney time, and local Beijing or Peking time. So yeah, I haven't actually come to a decision as to whether I should make this filming session exclusively accessible to my patrons yet. I'll just see, learn the ropes along the way, and decide about the rest later. So yeah, let's keep learning, keep pushing ahead. Creating a comprehensive export plan should be one of your most important tasks. It's the primary document you need to share with banks, investors, and business partners to show them that you have thought through all the possibilities, challenges, and risks. Think of it as an extension of your overall business plan, rather than something that is separate from your domestic business objectives. Your plan should work alongside the rest of your business. It shows how you're going to sell abroad, and it's where you document all your objectives and research. Your export plan should include information and decisions about your core business, exporting objectives, competitor analysis, target markets, your finances, HR, and other resource requirements, and blah blah blah. Yes. Let's see how they actually work. The export plan. Choose a product. Let's see. For example, let's see publications. At least 4 times a week. Other paper. Printed books, newspapers, pictures, and other products of the printing industry, manuscripts, typescripts, and plans. Heading, newspapers, journals, and periodicals, whether or not illustrated or containing advertising material, appearing at least 4 times a week. So you can rename your product to make it more suitable for your, so they got a spelling error there, for your, not for you business, but for your business. But be aware that this will not change the product classification. For example, if you are exporting fresh apples and rename this to British russet apples, we still show you content based on the original classification of fresh apples. Let's see how they change. Regular publication. Continue. Choose a market. Let's see. We export that to, well, assume we export that to Japan. Creating export plan for selling regular publication to Japan. Wow. About your business, 0 out of 5 questions are answered. Travel plan, getting paid. Let's see this part, getting paid. To get paid the right amount and get paid on time, you need to think about your intended payment terms, payment methods, Incoterms, apparently a registered trademark or whatnot, international commerce terms. To make it easier, we have created a list of options for each one. Your payment methods. Foreign buyers may have different expectations about how and when to pay for their imports. To avoid uncertainty and disappointment, carefully consider the options available. Payment methods. Choosing the right payment methods when exporting. Lesson length 7-minute read. International bank transfers, credit or debit card payments, merchant services, local bank transfers, others. Maybe international bank transfers. Oh, that we can, apparently we can pick multiple options here. Merchant services. Yeah, let's choose 3 of these. Payment terms, payment in advance or letter of credit, bank collection or documentary collection, D/C, open account or other. Let's see if what happens here if we choose payment in advance. Intercom lesson, transport, carrier and insurer, free carrier, delivered at place, unloaded, deliver at place, deliver at place, unloaded. Incoterms and the Incoterms 2022 logo are trademarks of ICC. Use of these trademarks does not imply association with, approval of, or sponsorship by ICC unless specifically stated above. The Intercom's rules are protected by copyright owned by ICC. Visit the ICC website, iccwbo.org, for more information on the Incoterm rules. Yes, progress saved. Next travel plan. So they have, well, they still have the COVID-19 travel guidance. View the latest travel guidance for British people traveling overseas during the coronavirus 19 pandemic. Open data snapshot, exporting regular publication to Japan. Let's see what this contains. Target market language. Make sure you know what language business is conducted in. They started here. Make sure you know what language business is conducted in the initial target market. If you can't speak the language, make sure you bring along an interpreter so you can communicate and have a successful trip. Why does the system also stutter? Have I managed to indoctrinate them into following my own peculiar patterns of speech, culture, and rules in your target market. Every country will have different rules you have to comply with when you visit. Visit great.gov.uk market guides to find more information about your target market and its business culture. Understanding local business culture. So they have a separate lesson here. Let's see. Okay, so it's apparently it's cross-referenced. Business risk, commercial risk, including intellectual property, political risk, economic risk, bribery and corruption, human rights violations. Think about the risks you might face when exporting and what you can do to avoid or minimize them. Some things to think about are these mentioned. Record any risks you think your business might face in the table below. Add risk. Let's see. Tax, tariffs, likely, possible, likely, certain, likely, risk impact, minor, moderate, major, contingency plan. Let's none yet. We can add more risks. Yeah. So return to export plan home. So we have completed 30% roughly. So they still have these travel plan get paid. Costs and pricing. Let's learn more about cost and pricing here. You need to have a good understanding of how your product is priced to make sure you can fulfill orders and make a profit. This section will help you to work out the cost of bringing your product to market, calculate your final cost per unit, find out the average price of similar products in your chosen market, calculate what you will pay in taxes and duties, decide on a final price for your product. Direct costs. These are the costs that go directly into building your product into something sellable. It is important you know your direct costs so you don't end up selling your product for less than you paid to make it. Record all of your direct costs in a table to calculate your total. Raw material cost, labor cost, additional cost. Let's just make something up. Say 20 pence per unit. Labor cost, let's say let's assume it's £2 per unit. Additional costs such as say electricity cost around £0.50. Oh, they also have overhead cost. These are the ongoing costs of creating your product. Knowing your overhead costs will help you figure out what to price your product to make a profit. Record your overhead cost record your overhead costs in the table to calculate your total. Product adaptation, freight and logistics, agent and distributor fees, marketing, insurance, other overhead costs. Not sure. Let's just make something up. Say £200. Freight and logistics. Let's assume it's just make something up. Also £200. Agent and distributor fees. Let's assume it's 0 for the moment. Marketing. Let's assume we spend no money whatsoever on marketing yet. Insurance. Let's assume not sure. Maybe do a Google search. I don't know. I haven't the faintest idea how much in insurance would cost, under this particular context. So maybe do a Google search. Insurance cost on export from UK to Japan. The cost of insurance for exports from the UK to Japan varies based on several factors, including the value of the goods, the type of goods, and the chosen insurance provider. It's important to factor in insurance costs when calculating the total custom value of the goods for import into Japan. Value of goods, type of goods. Certain goods may be more susceptible to damage or loss during. Certain goods may be more susceptible to damage or loss during shipping, potentially impacting insurance costs. Shipping method. The method of shipping, for example, air freight versus sea freight, can influence insurance rates. Consider UKEF support. If you are exporting goods that are at least 20% of UK origin, UK Export Finance, UKEF, may offer support in the form of credit insurance, which could help mitigate some of the insurance costs, according to gov.uk. Understand free trade agreements. The UK-Japan Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA, provides for tariff-free trade on 99% of exports to Japan, which can significantly reduce the overall cost of exporting. I see. So we need to go to the UK government side. Zeikan. How is the customs value calculated? Tokyo Customs. Okay, let's get back to that later. It's kind of overwhelming. Let's just say insurance. We also pay £200. Yeah. Total cost and price. Now you have calculated your direct and overhead costs. You can calculate your final cost per unit. This can be tricky, but don't worry. We will tell you what you need to do. First, record how many units you want to export over a given period of time. Unit type, meters, pieces, kilograms, grams, maybe sets. Let's assume we are about to export 10,000 books to Japan from Britain. By the end of, assume it to be some October then, yeah. Your final cost per unit. Your final cost per unit is how much it costs your business to create 1 unit of your product. To work this out, you will need your total direct costs, your total overhead costs, the number of costs you want to export. To help you, we've created an estimate for you based on the figures you gave earlier. Your estimate cost per unit is £2.76. We calculate this by taking your total overhead costs, dividing it by the number of units you want to export, and adding this to your direct costs. You may want to adjust this estimate, especially if your overhead costs are varied. Average price per unit in Japan. Find the average price of similar products in your target market. Do some research using online retailers, web searches, store prices, then find the average of these prices. Enter the figure below. Remember to convert the figure to Britain's pound and sterlings before entering it. Oh, this one is so freaking complicated. Funding and credit. I see. Would you learn how to prepare for an export market research trip? See.
Once you've completed your market research online and identified a market, you'll need to do in-market research. This means going to the country of choice and identifying key things to help you make your export plan a success. Before you set off, it's important to plan an itinerary and have your contacts lined up and ready to meet to get the best value out of the trip. You should have identified potential buyers, any distributors or agents you may wish to use, and regulatory advisors, all of whom will help you build a picture of the best ways to enter and operate within the market. Trade shows are extremely useful in helping you to build contacts quickly, test buyer response, and investigate competitor offerings. You don't always need to exhibit your products or services. Research opportunities can be gained just by visiting. Be aware that smaller specialist shows can sometimes open up more opportunities than large, higher-profile ones. Your in-market research should provide you with clear knowledge on your competitors, a solid understanding of customer behavior, motivation and preferences, and the best routes to market. The Department for International Trade is here to help and can provide access to a global network ready to help you identify and verify contacts, support trade show visits, and trade missions.
Looks like and advertising short clip. Find the right contacts, use trade shows and trade missions. Agencies. Start researching as early as you can. A research visit can help you discover early on that somewhere is not right for you, or it can really motivate you to be bold and go for it. Test your knowledge. What's involved in preparing for a visit to a target market? Number 2, what customer behavior should you observe on a visit? Number 3, where would you go if you needed help with in-market research? Number 4, reflect on what might be the pitfalls of selling to a market you've never visited. Yeah, let's not dive in to too much details for this section. Commit first, figure out the specifics later. Analyze customers' behavior. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys have learned something with me along the way via this platform. So in case you have any questions or doubts, please feel free to post them below this video, and I shall do my best to attend to each and every one of you promptly as best as I could. Though do not consider it a guarantee that I shall reply to every comment or a question, you know. But nevertheless, yes, in case you find or you have found this video useful, if not also enjoyable, please smash, please consider smashing that like button and subscribing to my channel here on YouTube and on other platforms such as BitChute and Rumble.com. So yeah, so thank you again for being with me until the end of this walkthrough video, and if God's still willing, I shall see you guys around next time on YouTube, on BitChute, on Rumble, on Patreon as well. So yeah, thank you, and stay safe, stay out of trouble, and stay far from weak. If God's still willing, until next time. Cheers, and 失礼します。Cheers.